Welcome. Taking you through the basics, HTML mainly, and getting started with the Visual Studio. Okay. Uh, in the process, we shall learn a lot from each other, and that's why take note of what I'll be emphasizing. You to get started with the basic programming. You go to your favorite browser. For this case, I have Chrome here. You type in code editor. Sorry, code editor. There are several here. There's Visual Studio. There's the Code Pen. There's Sublime, which is famous. For this case, Visual Studio is the best according to me. You click on it. If you have Windows or Mac, you say you download. For this case, I have in my computer. I'm not going to download it. Okay. So after downloading it, you check in your download files and install it. It's very simple to install it. Extremely simple. So after installing Visual Studio, let me find mine here. Just for I've already gotten mine here. Wow. Okay, how to get started here with the Visual Studio. Let me remove this and start. Okay, after opening your Visual Studio, you want to start something new. You can add new file, and what could be the name of this file? Let's say it's a practice. Sorry, it's a practice01.html. HTML files entered the suffix of the file extension is .html. Okay, let it be in this folder. New trials, you create. Here we go. Now, HTML it's a script language. If it's something new to you, it's not something very complicated. Remove this. It's not something very complicated. It starts with doc type. HTML. Then you start by opening HTML code and you close it. Every tab you open, you close. In HTML, every tab you open, you need to close. Then from there we can go to head. Has to be closed also, and this head is very important because it's going to contain the external stylings, going to contain even our internal stylings. After this head, you can have our body, which is going to enclose each and everything, all our content, all the content we're going to be writing is going to be contained in the body. Okay, if you don't want to go by this step of typing, there's a shortcut for coming up with the starting structure of HTML. What you have to do is just put on Shift 1, come up with the explanation, and press enter. Everything is just the same, but this time it has given us the meta viewport for making the page responsive. Okay, straight away let's dive into simple HTML, which will really be very important for you to come up with web pages. You can start with the text. Let's start with the paragraph. As I've said, every tag you open, you need to close. Let me say this paragraph says that I am a developer. Yeah, let's run this and see. For running, let's use Chrome. To debug anyway. Okay, it says I am a developer. Listen, I'm a developer. That's already a web page. That's how it works. For this case, okay, let me change the title of this. I'm going to talk about this, but the title has to be in the header, and let me say my first coding lesson. This mainly for these absolute beginners who don't know, who have never written a HTML code. Okay, we can move ahead to text formatting. HTML has a lot of text formatting. We can go into text formatting, like let me say making a paragraph bold. Is a tag of B to make a paragraph bold. Let me say my name is OJ. It's going to make this paragraph is good. Whatever written inside that bold is going to appear bold. There's another one of I for making a text in italics. My name is OJ in italics. Sorry, in italics. That text inside there, that this I tag here, the one you're seeing here, it's going to appear in italics. There's another one. Let me say, actually, alternative for using B for bolding, you can use strong. It will still appear bold. My name is OJ bold. It will appear still. It will still appear bold. Now let's see what we have. Let's run our codes and you see. Start debugging. Wow, you can see my name is OJ is also bold here. You can see, and my name is OJ in italics. You can see it has been in italics. And my name is OJ in strong. It is also in bold. Wow, that's so good. So as I've said, that every tag you need to open, you need to close that, but there are some specific tags when you open it, they don't need closing. Like example of a break code for breaking a paragraph. Like this is a paragraph. I want this next, actually this one. I want this next paragraph of my name is OJ in bold tag to be on a new paragraph. So I put a BR tag. That's one of the few tags you don't need to be closed when you open it, just like that. I can also put it here so that the next one also appears on its on a line of its own on the same different paragraph. Okay, like that. Wow, let's run and see the changes we have made. Let's run our code. That. Yeah, you can see now they're on individual. All of them are in individual paragraphs. So break code, so that BR break is very important. In HTML, there are very many text formatting tags. You can also use del for a text to appear like strike, or a text which is not necessary or not needed. Let's put here text is striked. Text is striked. Others for actually, how do I say, highlighting. You can use the tag of mark. Let me use the tag of mark. Sorry, that spelling is wrong. Mark. Say text is highlighted. Okay, text is highlighted. There are several others. Let's see our output for this one. Start debugging. Yeah, see, it's highlighted. The other one is in del tag is strike. The one I've put in mark, it's highlighted. Text is highlighted. Very good. Now let's go to another important aspect in HTML, which is lists. We have two types of lists in HTML. We have ordered list, it's put in the OL tag, and in this ordered list tag, we still have they have to put out items in the again list li tag. Let me say meat and chicken and chicken. In ordered list, our text is going to appear. Our items will be numbered from 1, 2, 3 and onwards. But in an ordered list whose tag we use UL, and of course even the items inside the UL tag for another list has to be put inside the LI tags. Let me say now this is water. And let me put another one. Let me say juice. Yeah, in another list, these ones are going to appear in bullets or in form of marking. Okay, let's now see. We have talked of list, ordered list, and another list. Said in ordered list, they're going to be appearing in number, that's 1, 2, 3. In unordered list, they're going to appear in bullets. Let's see. Let's see and run. This is just a basic estimate. Yeah, you can see. This is our ordered list. It's going to be numbered 1, 2, 3 onwards. This is our unordered list. It's going to be appear in what? Just highlighting. Okay, move forward. That's another very important attribute. We go to anchor. Anchor in HTML. We have this one of the very important very important aspects in the HTML. We open the anchor tag and also need to close it. And let me say this a link to Google, or let me say a link to Nebat website. Okay, but of course, when somebody clicks this, it needs to be taking him somewhere. So how do you make that link? We put what's called hypertext reference. What are we going to put there? We're going to put HTTP. We're going to put HTTP hypertext transfer protocols. We're going to put column 2// www dot, let me say, Nebat engineering.com. So when person taps on this link to Nebat, it takes him to the website of this anchor tag is very important. Actually, you can add here the target. You can say it to be blank. You see, it's already there. It's blank. That's advantage of VS Code. So when a person taps on this link to the Nebat website, it takes him to that particular. We want to show you a link which will help you to send a link which will help you to send mail. To send mail, it's going to be the same. You have to write a anchor tag, open and close. Let's put here send mail. But how is our link going to be inside here? We're going to put it in hypertext reference. It's going to be mail to mail to a column. Let me say it's going to be, let me say, John at gmail.com. So yeah, when a person just taps on this send mail, to open this and to send mail. That's a very important aspect in HTML. Very first, let's go to simple table. Creating simple table in HTML. That's a very important aspect. In HTML, you can create a simple table using a tables tag. And it's right here, table. And inside this table tag, you can use the tr. The tr we open and close. That's mainly for the column. Let me say in this tr, we're going to still have what's called the th. That's for the header or column 1. This is for the column. Let me say column 1, another th for column. Another th for column 2. Then after that, again, we're going to open another tr tag. Inside the tr tag, we're going to open a td. Now that's the content, the items or data in column 1 and data in column 2. The first one will say maybe data in column 1. Let me just copy this and paste it here. This is, just copy it. Sorry, just paste it here. This now is some data in column 2 instead of column 1. This aspect is very important. I can also still open another. Of course, this is, let me say, this is going to be row 1. It's going to be row 1. This is still going to be row 1. Let's make another. Actually, just can copy entire of this. And just paste it here. Let's paste it here. It's going to be row 2. It's going to be row 2. Wow. Wow, that is it. I think that is it. Let's now run and see how our table is going to be displayed. Wow, very good. As I've told you that it's a link. When you tap here, it takes you to that website nowadays, right? No internet. That was the link which I was talking about. Still for our table. Let me go back. This is our table. Now in CSS, you're going to learn how to put a border for each item of the maybe row 1, row 2, the column. You design them, learn how to design them in HTML. So that's how we create a simple table. Now another important aspect I want to take you to is it's what's called comment. Comments, this is something which you write in your HTML code that help you to identify where you are, but it's not going to appear in your code on your web page. In HTML code, in HTML, when you want to write in a comment, you open a tab, put exclamation mark 2. You tap on 2. How do you call that? This, okay, how do you call this? You tap on this two of these highlight. This is okay. Name I'll skip, but you can let me say that let me say this is a comment. It's a comment. It's a comment. When you run your code, you will not see this anywhere. Or you can just write. Let me write another one here. Beginning of, this is another way of writing actually. A comment, beginning of tables concept, beginning of tables concept. Then I close this. What you can do, you highlight it, put on Control / it automatically comments it. You just highlight that particular thing and tap on Control / it will become a comment. Very, very important. Actually, this one. Yeah, that's like that. That's very, very important. We should not forget. Now, another important aspect I want to take you to in HTML is a div. A div is like a division or a container which is going to enclose each and everything. Like, let me say this table, I can put it in no, sorry, I can put this table in a div. I can put this table in a div, but of course I want to enclose the entire of that table, the content of the table in a div. I'll come and close it from here in a div. Perfect. Div is very, very important for organization. Div will help you to separate your items. Another important aspect I want to talk about in HTML is a section. Let me say at the beginning, let me say you want a six. Can start to, let me say it's the section of let's put a section and close. Then let me come and close it this side here. It's closed. Section can be able to identify and separate, let me say, the navigation bar, let me say introduction, let me say projects and so on. Can help you to add and separate together with the comment. It can help you to really be organized when you're writing your code. Section is very, very important. Another important aspect we want you to go to is IDs and classes. Very important when you're writing your HTML codes, you need to give your divs classes and ID. Like this div of the table, let me give it a class of let me say class of tables. Give it a class of tables. And a class, for class you can give the same class over and over. It's not very sensitive, but for ID you can only give one ID. ID has to be unique. I cannot give the same ID here. Let me say here ID is equals to, let me say item 1, and I also come here and where do I come? And also I come here and I say maybe ID is equals to item 1. It's impossible. It cannot happen. ID has to be very unique. Just like a national ID of someone, the numbers cannot be the same. It's very, very important to know that. So that's how they give ID and class. They are very, very, very important. That's another very important idea of in HTML. Now I want us to go to the concept of input. The concept of input. Input is very, very, very important. Actually, before I go to input, I'm forgetting very important aspect of, they call it image. Inserting an image in our web page. Just as to access one of the tags which we open without closing. It's just automatic. After you use img tag, then use this src for image location. Let me say in that particular folder of ours we have what's called images folder. Let's say images stroke the image name. Let me say homepage.jpg. Then I can add maybe alt. This is like another attribute for it. Let me say homepage. Let me say homepage image. It's very, 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 very important. And actually, you can give it classes to style it. To help you style it, you can give it a class. You can give it class of image, or you can actually style it inline. This one we're going to look at it even more in CSS in the next recording. You can style it from here. You can just say this style of styling is called inline. You can give it style. In a style, you can say its width should be 100 pixels, and its height should be 100 pixels as well. That's a very, very important, very, very, very important aspect in HTML. Now let's go into inputs. Inputs are very, very important. It helps us when we are completing our when we are making our let me say contact form. So let me say input. It has a lot of attributes. You need to give its type. There are several types. Let me say the type of checkbox. And I can maybe give it a name, maybe a color. Then this color, the ID should be, let me say this is red. Then the value now will depend. The value can still remain the same, and I can give it a label. And I can call this label for. I can give it a label, and I call this label. How do I say? I can call this label red. Then again, You can make actually several of them. Now I want to show you different types of inputs. This input I can say this type. I want to now show you the one they call a radio. I want to show you the different types of inputs. This is radio. The name I can also give it a color. Can give it ID. Can give it ID of let me say blue. Can give it ID of blue, and I can also give it a label. I can also give it a label, and I can give it a label of blue. Very well. This one has not. This one has to be label. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's see now the output of this which we have written. Let's run our code. If you want to see, you run it from that side. Yeah, you can see this is the image. You can see that it's not showing because I don't have images in that folder, particular folder. But in case there is a particular folder of images, it will really show it. It's a checkbox. Checkbox, when you tap on it, it ticks. Radio is circular. When you tap on it, just it highlights. That's the difference between a checkbox and a radio. They are all input types. You can make an input for button. You can use input for button. Input type is going to be a button. How you can use input and the type is going to be button. The type is going to be button, and let me say the name. You can give it a name. Name. Say submit. Sorry. You can give it the name of submit. You can also add it for a label. You can also add it a label. You can also add it a label here of submit. Okay. So let's see the content of what we have just done for the button. Wow, you see, this is a button. When you click on it, actually you can link it to the action of what it should do. Now I want us to do something very simple here and come up with this very simple form. A very simple form applying these things of input and input label and so on. So you want to start up with a form. A form is very important in a website because the visitors will fill it and send information. Now with the knowledge of a backend, the information will be stored. We can start it with what's called field. We can start with what's called field set. Open the field set tag and you need to close it. I can put here legend. These are some of the very rare tags which I will be showing you over because they're not so common. Let me say here this is a heading of form. That is it. After the legend, I can say break. I want now it to go to a new field. Then I can say here input. I can say here input, but which type of input is going to be this? I'm not giving it a type. Type is going to be a text. It's going to be a text. It's going to be a text. It's going to be a text, and again we will break it so that we go back to a new line, and I can give it a label here. And which label is this? Let me say name. Let me say name. And after going to the next, I can say another input. I can say input. I can say type. It's text. can close it and break it, and break would be R. See, actually after this there was supposed to be another label here. There was supposed to be another label here for this is actually supposed to be name up here and email. And if I'm saying this is email, that means this is not supposed to be text. It's supposed to be type, supposed to be email. So you can see very interesting thing here. And I think we are done. Let's first see. This is another very important aspect in HTML which we should really learn. Let's run it. Let's start debugging. Let's run it. Yeah. Wow. You see this is already a form. It's having its heading there, it's having name. Now when you style it with CSS, you see the beauty of it. You see the beauty of it. So in summary, we have looked at extremely basic HTML. We looked at, let me start from behind here. We look at field set, how to come up with a simple form, input, the types of input. And by the way, actually, before I forget, in this, I've said this is email. If I put here something else other than email, it will refuse because it has to be this. That's what's called validation. The validation rule. We'll still look at that. We are still here for the basics only. We've looked at this. We've looked at how images are added with their links. How you can use the attributes. These attributes are very important. Like for this attribute of alt, it will help you. It will help a lot during searching optimization. Put input checkbox. It can be radio, can be button. We have looked at creating a simple table. We have looked at the external links. We looked at listing ordered list and ordered list. Looked at simple formatting, strong, delete I for making text italics, making it bold, strong. Wow, that's really very brilliant. Now without wasting time, we are going to do a basic CSS, so that in the next video we're going to do what's called a complex or advanced CSS together with the basic JavaScript, and will be good to start writing web pages in the following following videos. So a CSS, it's actually which add what this is a skeleton. What adds flesh to our code? It's CSS. CSS can be written in three different ways. It can be inline in a way that I can just put here style. I can just put here style, and I say color, the color, and I can give it maybe this I can give it this. After that, I can give it say font size. I can give it font size. I can give font size of 15 pixels. I can let me say font family. Let me give it Franklin. I like this one. That's inline. And normally, actually, when you run, you really see that it has impact. Let's run. Wow. You have seen it's here. I am a developer. The color is different. The font family is different. You have seen this. I've styled it inline. Then inline. Another way of styling. You come and put your style tag in header. Get me right. It should be in the header. And normally for here, for you to start styling, you need to call that particular HTML using either ID or universal selector, or you select using its tags. Like let me say I want to universal selector is use heuristic, and you open the tag. It's going to make changes to the entire item in this page. Selected everything. box sizing. Let me say box sizing. Border box. Let me say background color. Background color. I want the background color to be like this. Let me say border. Let me say border. I want the border to be. Let me say 10 pixels. I want it to be having a border radius. The entire page to be having a border radius of 15. I want it to be a bit curved. Yeah, that's for selecting. That change is going to be for the entire page. Let's really go back and see. Let's go back and run and see. That's it. This type of styling is what's called internal. It's internal styling. I've talked of inline. Now this is internal. Wow, we have seen the entire. I've selected everything. Background of the entire thing. It has to picked. It was picked from the internal. Okay. Now from internal here, you can still call other more items using their ID. For ID, when you're calling using ID, you use what's called a hashtag. You put a hash, then you put the ID name. This is I put the ID name for what's called section 1 was what's called item 1. Item 1. Open and style it. Now I want this. I want this ones to be this section. What should I give for them? Okay, let me give for them a different background color so that you can read something visible. I want to give it that background color, and I want to give it a font size which is big so that you'll be able to see font size which is large. Actually, let me give it larger. Let me say font weight. Give it a font weight of 100. Just doing this so that this is just styling, writing CSS internal. Okay, let me come and close here and come and run. Start debugging. Wow, you see this from here up to here. I've given them a different background color. This background color that changes. Use only those items which are in that with ID name of item 1. Okay, now let's call the one with the class. Let's call and style using the class name. Go to class of the tables. Let's style the tables. When you're calling a class, use the dot the class name, which is now for this case tables. Then you open. Let me give them a color of. Give it a color. Let me give them a color of red so that a voice red violet so that you can easily see the change to them. Let's give them maybe a border radius. Border style. Say double. Then let me give them yeah, I think that's enough. And we come and see what we have done. Wow, you see I call this class of tables and I've styled them. Wow. That's the second way of styling. The third way of styling is you write you open a specific folder. You open a new file. Let me say a new file. Let me call it style.css. It's going to be inside the crate. Wow. Now this yes. Okay. Now this we're going to put its link in here. We're going to put say link the relationship. It's going to be style sheet then the then the CRC is going to be dot style dot CSS. This is external. This was also called actually a link that it doesn't need to be closed. It's one of those ones also we don't need to be closed, but it has to be within the head. So I want to just make something very unique here. I want to make something very unique here. This deleted text, I want to give it a class of external. I want to give it a class of external, so that when I go to my style here and I call dot external and I say color, I want to give it a color which is very weird so that you can easily see. Okay, I want to give it a font style of italic. Okay. Now we have put that latest text and we want to see the impact of this, of external linking is external CSS. Let's run and we see. Start debugging. Wow. You can see the deleted text strike thing. It's having impact on it here. So those are the 3 ways of writing our CSS. So for this is everything here is basic. But if you go slowly and you have these basic concepts, the next is going to be extremely very easy. Thank you very much. You take your time to understand this one by one. As I review again, we looked at styling our HTML. We looked at first inline, where you put style inside a particular tag. We looked at internal, where you open your style tag inside the head. Then we looked at external, where you open the file somewhere, but you link it using a link which also to be inside the head. We looked at overall styling. You use aristag. You looked at calling using ID, where you start with the hash, then the ID name. We looked at styling, where you go using the class name, where you start by dot and the class name. Wow, that's very good. Then simple CSS stylings, color, borderline, border radius, let me say text aligning. Everything here is very basic. In the next video, we'll see more complicated or let me say deeper CSS. CSS is very important in the aspect of web development. Thank you very much. About to stop here.